his visa yet again. Rob Harris is global sports writer for the Associated Press and joins me now. Rob, just remind us why he's back in the dock again.
Well, it's all a bit about cover-ups and deceptions and not telling the truth necessarily, something that might link many stories around, of course, at the moment. And in this case, it's linked to coronavirus regulations. It all started when he arrived in Australia more than a week ago, believing he had an exemption from needing to be fully vaccinated to enter the country. It was the requirement for anyone participating in the Australian Open. And what he told Australian authorities, and he said he'd had the okay from local officials in Melbourne, is that he tested positive on December the 16th. So that meant he could come into the country. That exempted him from the vaccination. But then the government intervened and decided to overturn the visa that was granted to him. And he was sent a week ago to that detention hotel to wait it out while he was facing a court then on Monday. And that court ruling said, actually, Djokovic was free to stay in Australia, free to compete in the Australian Open and to go for a 10th Australian Open title, to defend his crown from last year and seek a record 21st Grand Slam title. But in the days since then, we've been hearing so much more information about just what led to Djokovic getting that positive test. There are even doubts from some sleuths who've analysed the data of the test result, which was published by the Australian court, which even questioned, did it even take place on the 16th? Was it a later date? And the crucial thing is, when did Djokovic know he had tested positive? Because on the 17th, he was pictured out and about with some young players at an event. And the thing he has admitted to doing, which was on the 18th, after already knowing he was positive, he took part in a photo shoot in Belgrade for L'Equipe, the French newspaper. He said he wore a mask while in the interview, but not when he was being pictured. And that was a clear breach of Serbia's coronavirus regulations. Just as we all know, isolation after you've tested positive. He is still getting support in Australia, in Serbia, though. But another element of the case unfolded when we saw the form that he submitted to Australia on entry, which said he'd been to no other country in the 2 weeks before entering Australia apart from Serbia, but he'd been posting online pictures from himself in Spain. So that is another breach, another element where he said, well, actually, he didn't fill the form in himself. And all of this led to today and the executive authority of the immigration minister, which was the ability to be able to reject Djokovic's visa yet again. So as it stands now, he has no right to stay in the country, but over the weekend he's going to be meeting with lawyers, and there's going to be another hearing on Sunday to try to challenge this visa ban so he can take part in his opening game, which is on Monday. So it's going to be a fast-paced weekend of developments.
Fascinating. That's Rob Harris. And of course, we'll keep you here up to date on all of that on LBC.